Hello and welcome to the Kony Technology Platform video series. This particular video we're going to talk about SMS and push notifications. We'll start with SMS. There's two types of SMS functionality. One way where a system will push to a user notifications and alerts. And then the second kind of SMS, which is really what I want to focus on, is the two-way SMS. This is where the user initiates a query and a response is returned back containing data. Examples of two-way SMS might be a user making a payment in a banking app from texting. Another one might be retrieving, flight status information for a flight, or retrieving product information based on a SKU. And then the resulting data that comes back to the user can contain obviously the data, but it can contain other things like links to the mobile site, perhaps images, barcodes. An SMS return can, for example, return the boarding pass for a flight, for a check-in process, things of that nature. So the way the two-way SMS works is from a user experience standpoint, right? A user, let's say there's a flight status SMS function that the user wants to use, right? So text to 5555, the command flight stat, and then a flight number, right? The user wants to know what's the status of this flight. So what happens is this message gets sent through the cellular network over to the SMS aggregator, and the SMS aggregator recognizes the code 5555 and knows that it's registered to the Kony server and passes that message on to the Kony server. The Kony server's SMS manager gets the message, figures out what backend service needs to be called for this flight status command, gets the flight status service, makes that call to the backend system, retrieves the data, and then packages it back up and returns that message through the SMS manager, back through the SMS aggregator, and then back to the user. So the user experiences, after typing the command and hitting send, 3-4 seconds later, the response comes back with all the full flight information. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we talk about two-way SMS in the Kony system. Let me show you briefly how we've configured this, and then we'll talk about push. So over in the IDE, the way we configure the SMS is by allowing us to choose which of the services that are associated with the mobile app we want to expose over the SMS channel. So in this case, it's a shopping app. What might make perfect sense is to actually expose the get user reviews over SMS, such that the user can actually type in a product SKU number and then retrieve all the user reviews. A use case would be the user standing in the store at the shelf of the product wanting to know what other people think. Well, they could just quickly text to a command that particular SKU number and then retrieve those comments back. So the way we would configure it is we would assign the short code that was given to the company for their SMS transactions, and then assign a command. So this might be reviews, and then of course there's the inputs and outputs that need to be configured. But the idea is now that the user could open up a text device, text to 3333, the command reviews, and then type in the product SKU number. It would execute that method, get user reviews, package up the data, and then reply back to the user with the user reviews, so that the user can actually see that information right then and there, standing in the store in front of the shelf. That's a pretty powerful message. So that's how we configure the SMS in the IDE. Quick peek at what push notifications are and how they're handled. So push notifications can be used for alerts or notifications. This is a one-way. This is a push to the device. The device can react to these messages. So for example, a notification might contain a new item that's on sale. And the idea is that when the notification comes to the device can read that push notification and then launch the appropriate page so that the user is brought to the sale item page and shown that product. Currently, push is only supported on iPhone, BlackBerry OS 5.0 and above, and Android. And the way push works is as follows. Kony exposes at the server a push service that's exposed basically back to the customer system. Somewhere there needs to be a decision as to when to send a push notification and what information. We'll call that the decision engine. Typically that lives in the customer systems, but it may be implemented on the Kony server if there's custom functionality that doesn't currently exist. So the idea is that when the decision engine recognizes there needs to be a message sent, it will invoke this web service on the Kony server and pass on the device ID and the message information. And that information is then pushed through the push provider, whether it's Apple or Research in Motion or Google, and then push that notification off to the device where we can react to it. Okay. In the IDE, push notifications are configured in the application properties, and simply it's just a matter of identifying which of our functions, which piece of code we want to be executed when the push notification is received by the device, and that can do the business logic that will determine which form gets launched or which functionality gets launched on the device in response to that push notification. Okay? All right, so that's a little quick discussion and overview about how Kony we do two-way SMS and push notifications. Thank you very much.